What is Siscom? So Siscom is having looked at all these things, we saw an opportunity. We said, you know what, we are going to build the biggest compute clusters. So like in this data center, like we say, we've made commitments to take between 10 to 20% of their, of their flow, whatever, their space available, right? That's ambitious. What does that mean? That means we need to raise $500,000, right? So we spoke to VCs. Then we realized, oh, but this thing works like real estate. Why can't we have our investors just owning the compute, right? And that was the disruption and the innovation we bring into the space. So we have 3 products as of today. At least by this time, see, all of us understand what is a server. So our business model is purely to raise money for servers. So we raise money for servers, we come and collocate them, we do cross connectivity, we get clients for those servers. I think I'll explain to you what that means, okay? So in terms of buying into the opportunity, so there is dedicated server. So how does that work? You actually buy the entire server. So it belongs to you, right? So you'll participate like in this cluster. Let me see. So in this cluster, we're raising, as an example, $100,000, right? So technically, those are like 10 servers, right? So a guy could have $100,000, which means he invests in the whole cluster. Or you have 12K, which means you invest in one server. So what happens is once we close the funding for that cluster, we wire the money to the OEM, original equipment manufacturer, because they already have the customization request, they have the equipment request. They ship the server to us, right? When the servers come here, whoever is owning a dedicated server, we actually give you a certificate of ownership of that server. It belongs to you. It's your asset, right? So serial number, everything belongs to you. Contract, you dedicate it to Siscom. Okay? Now, what are we doing? We are managing the OpEx side of that server. 1, collocation, setup, virtualization, and whatnot. And then we're managing also the downstream, getting customers for that server. It works like real estate in such a way that if it was apartments, we would have 10 floor apartments, and you buy a single apartment from that. Then there'll be an agent company that manages the apartment for you, gets clients, service, all these things, right? But you own the equipment, right? We manage it for you. The second part of it is you just fractionally own part of that equipment, right? So you might not have the $12,000, but you have $2,000, which is roughly $250,000. You own a fraction of that server. Again, you get a certification of ownership of the percentage you have of the entire equipment. When the customer comes for their matter, they are coming to do everything operational on that server. The only thing we're interacting with is we have collocated for them, we have given it. They didn't need to own the server and burn CapEx on it, right? The second model is a virtual server. So you have the guys who do not need an entire server. They just need, so what happens is we virtualize the servers, right? Then we create multiple virtual computers on that server. Those servers can create, let's say, 64 virtual machines. So who are consumers of virtual machines? Guys who do smaller workloads. As an example, web hosting, right? A lot of us build websites. Website landing page doesn't have a lot. No one is, there's no data processing. You just see a landing page. Usually those don't require a lot of compute. That's why they're extremely cheap. They range between 5,500 per year, 2,500. So these are the guys who use virtual machines. Now, when we get into the territory of virtual machines, that's when we start to talk about cloud. Because even the guy who's deploying never sees the equipment. This is, as an example, when you go on any of the web hosting platforms, like Host Africa, they just give you cPanel. You never saw the equipment. You don't even know where the equipment is. That is cloud, right? Now, those are the guys that push demand. They are small workloads, but there are so many, right? So as an example, your one server can be virtualized, right? And we even do it all the way to up layer. And you have 100 websites on that, sitting on that server.